morning, I'm Steve Palec, and welcome to another edition of Rock and Roll Roots.
Ringo!
Yes, Steve, what's happening?
I don't think Milwaukee knows that we have a national treasure living right here, and it's Steve Palec. Sure, we've had great bands and brands, but who helped catapult them? Who gives them a platform, not just on his show, but behind the scenes, helping people out and connecting them? Steve will probably be weirded out by me saying this, but it's in his heart, and it needs to be told. This book is a big deal.
96.5 WKLH Rock and Roll Roots, how cool is that?
Being in my studio on a Sunday morning, that's exciting for me. I get to be a different person there, or maybe it's just that I'm the most like myself there. I'm Alita's husband, and lucky for that. I'm a fan of the Brewers, Packers, Admirals, Bucks, and Badgers. I love my dog Luke, and I'm a Milwaukee lifer. But in the studio, I get to be a friend that people invite into their living room for a few hours every weekend. There is where I get to play the music that's the soundtrack of my life. Growing up, radio was one of my windows to the world, alongside the television screen at night and the view of the alley into a life that never quite felt like my own. Life wasn't in my house, it was out there, in speakers, on screens, and the Milwaukee streets that I wanted to make my own. Neighborhoods were a big deal back in 1964. I'd go downtown and it was completely different than my own area. It was exciting. It was a whole different world there. It's where I'd pick up STP stickers from my bike. I'd visit the Moon Fun Shop. I went to the Army-Navy surplus store. And then, as I got older, I'd spend hours and hours flipping through albums at Record Head and other music stores. And I still have most of those finds to this day. Meet the Beatles started my musical journey, and the Beatles, with every subsequent album, kept me satisfied. It may be cliche to say this, but the Beatles gave me my love of music. And that love carried beyond their work into every other musical genre. I spent my childhood with one foot in Norman Rockwell's world of American pastimes, innocence, and joy. The other foot was in rock and roll, opportunism, and anarchy. Maybe my Norman Rockwell paintings would have been drawn by graffiti artists. I'd like to think that I've kept the spirit of fun and desire for joy through all of my life's chapters, whether it's been during great interviews with the likes of Les Paul, Ringo Starr, or Alice Cooper, working in real estate and on community boards to make my city and state more vibrant, cheering on the Brewers, indulging in great foods, spending time with my family, or just sipping on a good bourbon at the end of the day. I'd like to think there's something in all of those memories, big and small, that makes it really special, because it's how you experience something that truly makes it a memory.
So one of the things that Steve likes to do is bring me things that I love. I love red velvet cake and chocolate of any kind. So it wasn't unusual to arrive home at the end of the day and find a full-on red velvet cake sitting right here on the counter. And I don't know about you, but if there's a red velvet cake in my house, it's going to call my name wherever I am. So I had to tell him, it's so nice, honey, that you do this, and it means the world to me, but you have to understand, if it's in the house, I'm going to eat it, and I don't want to eat it. He reluctantly stopped buying me sweet treats and switched to flowers, which was perfect because I love flowers and I don't eat them.
When I think about music sets and themes and segues, I realize I've kind of lived my life like my show. I know the articles I've wanted to work into my big plan, family, career, community. I know the features that bring joy, the athletes, the artists, the adventures that have played in my life and become part of my own story. I over-prepare, always. I want to know all there is to know about the things I experience, and I try to know my cues. I can handle the occasional alarm that goes off. and make the segues as clean as possible.
And that'll do it for this week's edition of Rock and Roll Roots. I'm Steve Palec. Have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday, okay?
And when I get it just right, I'm in awe.